the most talked about South African series, Bad Influencer. And, I'm always going to keep it 100. If you're not hearing it from me, then I'm not too sure if it's really making enough noise. But before we get into the critics of things, I have to really put it out there that I stand on momentum. I stand as a qualified filmmaker, an award-winning film director who's screened and in places such as the Durban International Film Festival, the Carthage International Film Festival overseas, won an award at the Durban International Film Festival, produced in the industry, research, wrote for TV and film, and currently and most recently an award-winning executive producer at the Mail and Guardian Power of Women 2025 under the category Arts, Film and Media. So my opinion does not really just come from personal feelings. It comes from knowledge, it comes from training, and it comes from, great perspective that is shaped by my existence in the industry. All right, so when it comes to Bad Influencer, let's start with the concept. A lot of people get this wrong when it comes to concepts that, will have our actors speak English. So it almost comes across as fake, but not Bad Influencer. I think the reason why we were able to appreciate Bad Influencer for what it is because they successfully were able to juxtapose both worlds. Anybody you see living in Sandton today comes from a township or comes from a rural area. Just a few people who grew up in Sandton now live in Sandton, or grew up in this lavishness and now live in this lavishness. Most people come from, humble beginnings. And that's why in South Africa, stories that are set in the rural areas or the townships really skyrocket. Why? Because a lot of people can relate. And most of our viewers are in the lower SCM. So it makes sense. So every time the English shows really didn't always do well because it was very hard for a majority of audiences to relate, but not Bad Influencer. And for reasons being that they were smart to juxtapose Sandton with Hillbrow, the city, the hustle, the CBD. All right. So, I love the fact that this was also educational, where we got to understand the real world of influencers. If you have never been an influencer or aspire to be an influencer, or you're a mother and your child is an influencer, you get the real deal watching a Bad Influencer in terms of the struggles of influencers who are starting from the beginning. So we usually have influencers who start off like, with a strategy at hand because they come from money. So they know how to invest money to get money. But we have influencers who are starting from the hustle, starting with a small phone and starting with faking it until they make it. And this Bad Influencer is actually about that, really showing us the nitty-gritties when it comes to the hustle. Okay, so let's go to our characters. BK, Joanne. Joanne is such a phenomenal actress, and I love that fact that she defies this notion that, a person was cast into this role because they're pretty. No, she showed that she's pretty and she's also talented, and that's what I love about her. And Pinky, looking at this actress, I've always seen a very soft side to her. And I really think that she came out of her shell in a comfort zone. She really surprised me, Pinky. She's a wife. She's a very calm character. But it was very nice this time around to see her as an influencer, a baddie, and so forth. Okay, so the first thing I like also is the aspect of research. Nothing will fly and nothing will be great if it's not well researched. You cannot fool an audience. The reason why some shows are shot well and maybe written well but don't relate is because they're not well researched in terms of who is our target audience, what do they like, how do they speak, where do they live, and will they relate, or will this resonate with them, because you understand exactly who you're targeting. So I felt that through watching this, it was targeted at young people who love influencing young people who are on the come up, and that's why it gained momentum so quickly. So, what I love the most about Bad Influencer is that there was a story progression and they left the correct cliffhangers that made us or built appetite for the next episode and so forth. And I think what I did not get was a very strong love story. If you look at BK and Temba, they had something phenomenal going on there. And the producers, the director, the writers could have really capitalized on that love story. It felt like it was rushed. You know, it didn't feel like BK gave herself enough time to fall in love or enough time to be convinced that she has time for love as we speak. Because I mean, she's a single mother, you know, trying to hustle, getting bags, and you know, a cop is not somebody she wants to be messing with right now. There was no element of convincing that really built that appetite, that element of danger that we could have really, really liked. So I just feel like perhaps in season 2 they could play with those dynamics. Because if you look at movies like Twilight, one of the most key things was playing with the love triangle, playing with the danger of falling in love and just also not being able to deny your strong feelings. So I just felt like BK should have oozed more of that, and Temba should also have oozed more of that. And then there were also a group of influencers, real life influencers that I saw, like the likes of Mihlali and so forth. I just feel like, yeah, and yes, they appeared as themselves, but I just feel like they all just disappeared in the space. I just feel like they were not properly cemented and there was no clear goal as to why they're there. It almost felt like, okay, because you guys are influencers, you should be a part of this, and that's a brilliant idea. They should be a part of it, but I just felt like there should have been more end goal development there, where we understand why they're there and we understand what they. So, for example, if you go and watch a movie called Hunger Games, some people are spoken of in split seconds, but we get to resonate with them because it's clear from beginning to end. Okay, so and so is that so and so, and this is what happened, and this is where they are now. 10 to 15 seconds. But the story is powerful. So I just felt like maybe developing real influencers who are appearing as themselves, it must make more sense as to why they're there, not just because they're influencers. A lot of people are also criticizing my girl, Zozibini Tunzi. I liked her here. And I think people don't understand that she was playing a role of an influencer who's successful but can also be a bit fake and condescending. So how she came across, how she spoke, and the slowness and that thing that she does with her head, it was quite intentional. And I felt like she really nailed this part as a critic. You know, I couldn't see anyone better for that role because I really feel like she nailed it. People were expecting maybe more aggression because, I mean, Pinky is high tempo and also BK, high tempo. Everybody, but then you have this soft girl who knows how to play with words and poise to get her way out there. And I really like that about her. So I don't think there's anything wrong with her acting. Otherwise, to end this, I'm just going to say bravo to Netflix. I think there's a lot of improvement with South African Netflix, especially this year. In 2025, I'm seeing a real turnaround because I usually always struggle sometimes in the house where I would scroll and scroll. I would be really in a mood for a movie, but because for me, or a series, for me, something has to be brilliant, or else I can just play music or scroll the internet. I don't have to watch something that I'm not feeling. So I love the fact that there's a lot of improvement with Netflix this year. I'm seeing really, 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 really great work. And if this is what we're producing this year, I can only imagine what will come in the latter. So what are your views? Influencers, please sign to register here. And I would also like to invite snack companies. You know, I am a person who's watching movies and was going to come here and give out real criticism of those movies and really give a fresh perspective. So if you'd like to partner with me with your snacks company or energy drink or juice company, let's partner and make this as big as it is. Otherwise, find me on all my social media platforms. I'm at Zandi Wardle. Cheers and bye-bye.